It's on like I just 200. So.
Just kill it.
Okay.
Easy game, right?
Look.
Oh!
Nice.
Hey!
Shit.
What are you doing, Trox?
Why did you loot the boss?
Yes. Fuck!
Yeah, dude, that's what I don't want, because they both want the fucking weapon.
Oh, fuck!
I got one.
Oh.
Right there. The old mailbox strat.
Look, like...
Yeah, I fucked
we
up.
might...
If it goes to your mailbox, you can't trade it by the way.
Yeah, so we have to do it after. So don't zone out, Yoons, just stay in.
So this guy is that's you? Or is that the actual character?
That's not...
Shit, boss, it's dead.
BRT,
Nice
turn your
work.
stream off. Or mute it.
And you keep on pulling those fucking bosses, those things. I can't get them.
It's off.
Alright, don't loot the boss. Don't loot the boss yet. Don't loot the chest. Mainly at plate. Just plate, don't loot the boss. Loot the boss, you're a dum-dum.
Good team. Good job.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to claim back the money that I sent that cunt, and I'm going to make you pay me. I'm going to make him pay me $500 through PayPal.
What are you doing?
To not tell anyone about it.
What are you doing?
What a beautiful day it is. Beautiful day for some sales, beautiful day to make some gold, serve some buyers, but not if you are Wizards IRL. So here's what happened. Wizards IRL is the scummiest guild probably ever. So if you're not familiar with how raid sales work, what ends up happening is guilds will clear mythic maybe a few times, and then they're going to start selling mythic bosses. Wizards IRL has killed mythic N'Zoth like 4 times. The expansion is over for them. They don't have anything else they need gear for. There's not going to be another raid tier this expansion. They're done. So now they're getting into the sales part of the expansion. Really good time to make some gold and get ready for the next expansion. And it's just, you know, pretty chill time at the end of a tier when you're just doing sales. You're not really worried about gear. But for some reason, these guys have it in their head that it is a good idea to scam on World of Warcraft, of all games. So those clips you saw, the first one, obviously they had 2 warrior buyers, I think is what it was. They had some people that wanted the rod end weapons, and these guys potentially paid real money for it. They pay gold, they pay real money, and what their strategy is here is after they kill the boss, you know, obviously when you loot the boss, you can see what everyone loots. So what they do is they don't loot the boss, and if somebody needs the weapon, they wait until the buyers are out of the raid, and then at that point they'll loot it and trade it up and do all that. And if someone actually needs the weapon, they just won't loot it. They'll let it go to their mailbox. That is probably the shittiest behavior you could have in the game. These guys are the worst of the worst. It doesn't get much worse than this. It absolutely doesn't get much worse than this. On N'Zoth, you can even hear him saying they know that what they're doing is wrong. He's telling BRT to turn his stream off or mute it. He tells them it's off, and he's like, all right, now that no one can hear us, now that we are in our own little private conversation, it's just us raid members talking to each other, don't loot the boss. I'm giving the order to not loot the boss unless you're part of the specific, like, int plate or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah, turn your stream off. Or mute it.
It's off.
Alright, don't loot the boss. Don't loot the boss yet. Don't loot the chest.
Totally scumbag. Like the biggest scumbag move. Like, don't loot the boss. If you loot it, you're a dum-dum. And then you even have a clip of one of the buyers talking about how he spent $500 for a carry and how he's going to charge it back so that he can get his money back and then be like, yeah, now that I've got my money back, I want you to pay me for my silence.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to claim back the money that I sent that cunt, and I'm going to make him pay me. I'm going to make him pay me $500 through PayPal.
What are you doing?
To not tell anyone about it.
Well, buddy, I hope you get your $500 back, but you don't need to worry about the silence part. Like, no one's gonna be silent about this. It's out. There's streamable links. There's no hiding. These guys are fucked. They are very fucked. So I just want to go over a few things. First off, basically, there are no guilds in the world that do this. No one does this. This is abnormal behavior for a guild that is doing mythic sales. This absolutely does not ever happen, ever, anywhere, to anyone. So the fact that we can see it happening here, and we have their comms, we can hear exactly what's going through their mind, as they're pulling these nefarious deeds. So just really quick, assuming some of the people from that guild watch this video, I just want to go ahead and say this to everyone in there. How do you morally justify being in the guild, knowing that you're screwing people over? I can't really, I can't imagine being a part of a guild where looting a boss and getting an item that a buyer needs is like, oh shit, I know I fucked up.
Shit. What are you doing, Trox?
Why did you loot the boss?
Yes. Fuck. Yeah, dude, that's what I don't want, because they both want the fucking weapon.
Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, fuck.
We might.
Sorry, I know I fucked up. Oh fuck! The thing that the buyer paid for dropped, and I accidentally looted it, and he knows that I looted it. Fuck! Fuck! I fucked up! Like, that is actually what you guys are doing. That's not even an exaggeration. Like, the voice I made, everything. You guys actually do that. You're actually sitting there pissed off that you looted an item that a buyer paid for. He entrusted you to carry him so that he could get a specific item, and that specific item dropped. And you just so happened to accidentally loot it for him. Fuck! God forbid, right? God forbid that you loot an item that someone paid you gold for to have a chance of dropping so that they could finally get that piece of loot they wanted. Yeah, I know I fucked up. Shit. God, I'm such an idiot. Fuck. Why did I loot the boss after we killed it when we had buyers in the raid? Fuck. Don't you know that if you loot the piece of gear that the buyer needs and you trade it to them, that they're not going to buy anymore? You dumb shit. Idiot. Like, that's what you guys are doing. How in the fuck are any of you in this guild? How do you justify being in the guild? You are all just as guilty as this stupid fucking raid leader telling you all not to loot and to go ahead and scum yourselves out like this. You guys are just as implicit in this little scam ring you have going on as a raid leader. And if you don't leave the guild and go somewhere like an actual guild, then you are a piece of shit. I don't care if you don't agree with what your guild is doing. I don't care if you feel bad when you do this. If you stay in this guild and you continue to do this, you are just as much as a piece of shit as this guy telling you guys to do this. Actually, like, fuck you if you're doing this. A big fuck you if you're going to stay in this guild after all this comes public. There's no talent. I mean, how long have you guys been doing this? I know jack shit about your guild, and I don't want to learn. You guys aren't worth shit. You guys are not worth my time. How long have you been at this? I mean, that is pretty fucking retarded. Like, you would think that if you bring a buyer in and you get a piece of loot for him, be like, hey, hell yeah, sweet, you know, they'll probably come for the next expansion, the next tier. That's return business. You give people the thing they pay for, they come back. They know that, hey, these guys, I got what I needed from them. It was a pretty decent price. It wasn't that hard. I got what I needed, and I'll come back next time I need something. I'll be sure to go to that guild. Well, guess what, dumb shits? You just fucked up. You're not getting any more buyers, and I'll make damn sure of that. I want to make this very clear. and I mean this 100%, that if you are in this guild and you stay in it after all this has now become public knowledge that you guys are pieces of shit that scam people out of loot, so that, you know, hopefully they don't notice that, oh shit, they didn't loot 5 or 6 pieces, they only looted 1 piece. Where's all the other loot? I thought there was, like, bosses drop more than 1 piece of loot. What's up? Like, number one, you have the biggest balls I've ever seen to sit there and scam people this way. There is a set amount of loot that needs to drop from a boss, and for you to sit there and be like, yeah, don't loot, no one loot. Like, you think that at some point someone's not gonna notice that you guys are just like not looting? Like, surely you have thought about this. Surely at some point you've been like, hey, like, what if they know that there's supposed to be more than like 0 pieces of loot dropping? It's like, oh shit, we killed the boss, no loot drop. Better luck next time. We'll be here, same price, same time. Like, that's what you guys do. I don't see how you'd be able to stay in this guild. I know that if my guild did anything close to this, anything at all, I wouldn't be there. I would not be there. Never. I'd leave. Drop of the hat. You could not pay me to sell out like that. Like, not only are you fucking your guild over by doing shit like this, but you're also fucking up other guilds that are doing sales, because you're gonna be like, oh, well, if these guys are doing it, what about these other guilds that are doing sales? Fuck, they're probably doing that too. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy anymore. So this is pretty personal. This is personal. It's not like I'm just, you know, virtue signaling. Oh, you shouldn't scam people in a game. Number one, you shouldn't. You should not scam people in a game. No, scamming is bad. You shouldn't do it. And if you disagree, you're a piece of shit, and I don't care about your opinion. But secondly, you're not the only guild that does mythic sales. You're not the only guild that does sales. You guys are not special. You're nothing special. You're like, what, world 290 something? So you guys are actually pretty dog shit at the game. And on top of that, you're pieces of shit because you are scamming people. So you don't have anything going for you. You're shit at the game, and you're just shit people all around. You have no morality. You have no moral compass. There's nothing good inside really any of you. Now, maybe if, you know, you guys were to leave the guild, maybe if your morals led you in the direction of being like, you know, I don't really want to be in a guild that supports this kind of behavior. Good on you. You know, good job. Like, go join a real guild. Like, go join a guild that's not like fucking World 300, US like 100 or whatever the hell. Like, they're no names. And it doesn't surprise me that the guild that is doing this happens to be shit at the game. Doesn't surprise me at all. Shit at the game, and you're shit people. Not surprising. So you may be wondering, how could something like this even happen? And so what I did is I made a level 1 on Frostmourne, and I went to go message someone that was in the raid, and I happened to get a hold of a crow. And I just asked very plainly, straight up, not hiding anything. I tell him exactly what my intentions are. Hey, why do you guys sell mythic but not loot bosses? Good question. Waited like a minute to see if he'd say something more. He didn't. I tell him it seems counterproductive since his buyers are paying for items and the raid lead is telling them not to loot. And I also tell him that's a massive scum move. For the record, we never withheld any tradable loot from any buyer.
Alright, don't loot the boss. Don't loot the boss yet. Don't loot the chest.
Did you loot the boss?
Yes. Fuck!
Yeah, dude, that's what I don't want, because they both want the fucking weapon.
But I'm sure you'll ignore that. I tell him no one is ignoring anything, but that is pretty shit when you bring in buyers and your raid lead is telling people, BRT, mute the stream.
BRT, turn your stream off. Or mute it.
So he can give no loot orders.
Alright, don't loot the boss. Don't loot the boss yet. Don't loot the chest.
And he actually agrees with this. So a crow, if you're watching this, I hope that in a week or two, when I look you up, you're not in that guild anymore. I ask him if it's been a thing for a while. You know, they've killed Nazoth. It's just very weird after you have essentially beaten the expansion. You've killed the final boss. There's not another raid tier. That you're still gunning for loot to the point you are fucking your buyers over. You are such a loot whore that you will bring people in that pay you gold, and in the case of your guild, $500. You will bring them in and intentionally not loot the item they need so that you can give it to your fellow raiders. And he actually says, here's what happened. The sales officer decided to sell items too early when not all pieces were tradable to the buyer because of item level. Because remember, this is a pretty shit guild. These guys aren't that good at the game. They don't have 475 or whatever the fuck in all their slots because, you know, they don't play the game a lot. He falsely advertised the number of people who could trade the item. Example, 4 plate wearers when only 3 could trade. So that's pretty shit. He's falsely claiming, yeah, everyone in here, they can trade whatever you need. It's not a big deal. But unbeknownst to the buyer, that is a fucking lie. Since these guys are so shit at the game, they can't trade mythic loot from fucking Rod In. They advertise everyone can do it, but only 3 out of 4 people could do it. So if that one guy happens to loot the item the buyer needs, he can't trade it. So what does the raid leader say? Okay, no one loot anything.
Alright, don't loot the boss.
Just make it look like nothing dropped. Make it look like they had shit luck, better luck next time. We'll get gold from them next week as well. You cannot defend this behavior. There's no sequence of words anyone in the universe could put together that would make this behavior acceptable. If it was up to me, all of you would be banned permanently, and you would not be playing the game. I don't tolerate it. There's no excuse. You will never ever, there's not even a parallel universe that exists where I would be okay with something close to this. There's nothing like the majority of people agree with me. Like the vast 99% of people will agree with me that this behavior is unacceptable. It shouldn't be tolerated, and that you should all be banned. You should not be playing this game. You don't belong in this community. You're tarnishing not only your reputation, which probably wasn't worth much anyways. You're not only tarnishing your reputation, but you're tarnishing sales reputations like overall. You are blanket fucking over every guild by doing this, because now people that buy raids are going to be like, fuck, man, like the guild I buy from, they might be doing that too. Well, luckily for them, no, they're not. No one does this. So I just got to, as an aside, I just have to say, holy fuck, you guys are retarded. You are streaming your comms while actively scamming buyers. I can see why your rank is so fucking shit. Like, you're not the brightest bulbs in the box. So I can see why you're like world 300, okay? You're shit. And you guys are stupid. I mean, who came up with that idea? Hey, let's scam people and then stream our comms so that they can get a listen in on what we're doing here, on how we scam. They can hear what we're saying. They can hear what we're talking about. Actually pathetic. This is the guild. Let's just go ahead. Wizards IRL on Frostmourne. You see they're a shit guild, shit rank, irrelevant, shit item level. Everything about them is shit. They've killed N'Zoth 4 times. It's just so fucking bad, dude. And you can see here, today's the 28th. They've had 2 people leave, and I'm hoping that looks a little bit different. I hope I see like 20 more names saying that's left Wizards IRL. I hope I can see that here in the next few days. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much more to say. We got the clips. If you need a TLDR, Wizards IRL is a guild on Frostmourne, and they scam their buyers. And the way they do this is they bring you into their raid, and after they kill a boss, the raid leader says, don't loot the boss. And when you don't loot the boss, if you need the loot, when you zone out, it goes to your mailbox, at which point it becomes untradeable, even if you do want to trade it to the buyer, if you had a change of heart. And if they don't want to do that and they want to give it to someone in the raid, they will have the buyers leave, be like, ah, fuck, it didn't drop. See you next week, bud. And then they will promptly loot the item that the buyer needed, and then trade it to the raider that needed it. Or, I mean, at this point, it has to be an alt, right? I mean, there's no fucking way you guys can't trade that loot. There's no way. I mean, you're 478 item level. Like, how in the hell? But maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, we're talking, like, look at this. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. You guys are shit. So, there's really not much more to say. I would avoid this guild at all costs. I will be opening a ticket. I'm going to send in some evidence. Send in the streamable links. And then there's also that clip of one of the buyers talking about how he's going to try to get his money refunded. So hopefully he can get his $500 back, and then maybe a little extra. Hopefully he can get that blackmail money before, you know, anyone would see this. But I would avoid these guys at all costs. Don't interact with them. If anything, just report them and move on. And to any buyers out there, anyone that buys raid carries, let me be abundantly clear on this, that this type of behavior is unbelievable. This never happens. This does not happen. No one does this. This is something that does not happen in World of Warcraft. This is the kind of stuff that happens in RuneScape. RuneScape is the kind of game where you would see scamming at this level. This is the kind of stuff that happens on RuneScape, where there's not really like good customer support, or it's really easy to scam people. You don't have any protection for your items. That's the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing I would expect to see on RuneScape. World of Warcraft, this type of behavior should never be tolerated, and it is not tolerated. So if you are currently buying raid sales from a guild, if you're buying clears, all you need to do is make sure that the correct number of items are dropping. If you're not seeing any loot drop, or only 1 or 2 pieces of loot, you're getting fucked over. You need to ask, hey, why is not all the loot showing up? But you're not going to have to worry about that, because that doesn't happen. No guild does this. My advice to any buyers, people that would buy the raid carries, would be to avoid these dudes. And as you can see, their guild is actually in the N'Zoth Hall of Fame. So if you see a guild that's in the Hall of Fame, doesn't necessarily mean they're ultra trustworthy, okay? That being said, this is the first I've ever heard of a guild doing this, and that's, likely because they were streaming their comms, because, they're not very bright, nearly ranked 300, not the brightest bunch ever that you've ever seen. If you're going to buy, just avoid these dudes. You don't have to go buy from Limit or Method. There are a ton of guilds you can buy from that won't scam you. No one does this. It doesn't happen. This never happens. And when it does happen, obviously, the guys are pretty stupid. They're gonna fuck up. They're gonna make mistakes, and we will have it on video, just like we do with these retards. And my message to anyone in Wizards IRL: leave your guild. If you're in that guild, you're a piece of shit. You are the biggest piece of shit in the game if you stay in this guild and support this behavior. You cannot defend it. And as you can see, the guild is somewhat irrelevant. They've only been around for like this tier, so this is probably their last tier, to be honest with you. I'm going to do everything in my power to get the raid leader banned. I will open a ticket. I will send the streamable links. I will send the evidence of real money trading over there. And we'll just see how everything works out, won't we? So that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed it. Not really a video I've ever done before, putting people on blast, but this is a topic that I have very strong opinions on. Scamming in World of Warcraft has no place. Scammers in World of Warcraft shouldn't have a home here. They need to be immediately and permanently removed from the community. Their characters need to be deleted. Delete their account data. You should not be on this game if you're going to conduct yourself like this. Other than that, Not much else to say. It's a pretty simple concept to grasp. Don't be a piece of shit. And you guys fucked that up. So I wish your guild the worst of luck. I hope it dies as soon as possible. And I hope that your raid leader and anyone that agrees with this type of behavior is unable to get into any future guilds. I hope that you are permanently blacklisted because of your behavior. That is what I would hope for. That is the best possible outcome, is that you are no longer able to play the game with your name. I hope that you all have to pick different names. I hope that you killed your name. I hope that in the future, if you are going along with this behavior, that you are no longer able to keep your internet alias. I hope that you have to change your entire identity. That is what I hope for. It would make me so happy if you guys were unable to keep your names because nobody wants anything to do with you. I know that I'm looking at all of the names in that raid right now, and I will not be doing anything with any of you. And honestly, I'd blacklist the shit out of all of you. If I see any of you join a new guild, knowing that you support this behavior, I would actively go to the GMs of that guild and be like, hey, check it out. This guy, he was in on this. This is the kind of guy he is. So that's where I stand. I'm sure most people agree with me. So fuck Wizards IRL. Fuck all of you. You're ruining sales for everyone, not just yourselves. You're selfish, and you real money trade. And while I can respect the real money trade hustle, you know, man's got to eat. If you are taking people's money and simultaneously scamming them, fuck you. That's it. I'm Simplify. God bless.
Fuck!